Welcome back to another episode of the Elevated Chat Room. It's your host, Lonzo Jones. Elevate your mind, elevate your life. My co-host, Dwayne Malone, he's behind the scenes, doing what he do, working the camera, making sure the audio quality is good for you guys. Now, we're not going to be before you long on tonight, so let's go ahead and jump into it. The topic for tonight is game time with dad, turning sports into quality time and life lessons. So these are questions that I get asked quite often, or that are asked in the sports world when it comes to being a father and a coach and a supporter. Okay. So they ask me, so how did you get your kids introduced to sports? And for those of you who don't know, I have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old that both play baseball, football, and basketball. Travel, sports, and all that kind of stuff. Travel and rec. So we do a lot, and that's our life, man. We love it. It's nothing for you to catch us in 2 different cities, sometimes even 3 on one day. So I may have, like right now, my oldest boy is playing travel baseball and AAU basketball. So he may have a tournament in basketball in Huntsville, and then a baseball tournament in Coleman. You know, so it's or my youngest boy, he can be playing a travel ball tournament in Muscle Shoals, while my oldest son, he's somewhere else. So we're always split up on Saturdays for the most part. But we love it, man. They love sports, they enjoy it, and we enjoy coaching them and training them. So I mean, it's pretty cool. All right. So how did you introduce your kids to sports? When they were young, we would just watch sports, baseball, football, basketball. Sports Center stayed on. So sports was just always on. And then as they got a little older, you know, you buy them a little goal in the house and you shoot on it. The next thing you know, they shooting on it, they dunking on it. And then as they get a little bit older, you go outside and you just start dribbling the ball. You go outside, you just shooting it just by yourself. The next thing you know, door open, you hear little footsteps. Hey, daddy, what you doing? Oh, I'm just out here playing around shooting the ball. Oh, I want to do it. Come on. So what I'm saying is, whatever they see their father doing, they're going to want to do it. Now, whether they're going to be great at it or not, time will tell. But whatever they see you doing, so if you want your kids to play sports, then introduce it to them. Pick up a ball, go outside, start doing it. Start playing catch. Now, see, we go outside in the backyard, basketball, football, and baseball. We doing it all, right? But they didn't know that when they was coming outside, once they got about 6 and 4, we doing drills, but it's fun drills. They didn't even know they was getting trained. So at a young age, I'm already training them, but we're having fun and they don't even know it. So when they step on the court for the first time or the field for the first time, it's like, oh, these kids pretty good. And it's not like they just woke up and they were good. No, they actually been in the backyard playing around so much that they got good. Training without training. You feel me? So like I said, if you want your kids to excel in any sport, literally pick up a ball, go outside, and they'll follow you. But it's also predicated on the relationship that you have with them. And see, while you're doing all this training and different things with them, you're building a closer relationship because it's quality time, right? So let's just, like I said, you introduce them to the sport by watching it, by talking about it, by listening to it, and by going outside and doing it. And I guarantee you, before it's all said and done, they'll follow you outside. They'll start picking up a ball. I actually taught my oldest boy how to count to 10 by dribbling the basketball. Ball in the right hand, 10 dribbles. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. So guess what? Not only was he learning how to count, he was also learning how to dribble. So it's little things like that you can do, especially at a young age, to make it fun. So that way they are enjoying it and they're getting better at it. All right. How do you handle sibling rivalries when they're involved in sports? Okay, so the first thing is we don't compare. Okay, my boys, their body makeup is totally different from each other. My oldest boy, he's more of a thicker, stronger, more solid and skilled. My youngest boy, he's more athletic, he's lean, he's quick, and he has endurance for days. Okay, so there's no point in comparing. Even if they were twins, we're still not going to compare, because you want them to respect each other and you want them to respect each other's differences in their game, because guess what? Eventually they can learn from each other. Okay. And that's what we do now. Like my oldest son, because he's bigger, he has to use his body more. So I would say things like, hey, you see how your brother used his body to shield the guy off. Then I'll speak to Aiden when it comes to his younger brother, Austin. I'll be like, hey, you see how Austin just was like all out in that moment? He didn't hesitate. So it's things like that. You're not comparing, you're using it as teaching points, okay? And there's certain things that we don't say, like, hey, you need to hit the ball like your brother, or you need to learn how to do this like your brother. We don't do that. I don't do that. I don't recommend you do it, because that's when they start to butt heads. And then it's like, well, you playing favoritism. Well, you like this, you think he's better than me. Like they'll ask me questions all the time, like, who's better at who's better at baseball? And I'm like, well, Aiden, you the best 10U, and Austin, you the best 8U. Like, why you asking me that? You really think I'm finna sit here and say something to cause a division so y'all can be mad at each other, mad at me, talking about something? Well, daddy think you better. No, we ain't doing that. Okay, you good at what you do, he's good at what he does. Now let's learn from each other. So we never compare. They compete because that's what they do. They're competitive. Okay, so they're gonna compete. They're gonna be competitive, but we don't compare. So parents, try not to say, I wish you would do this like your brother, because he's not his brother. Okay. Is your household competitive when it comes to sports and games? Man, oh man, is it? My youngest boy, he gets fighting mad and cries when stuff don't go his way. And it could be something as simple as a board game. It gets to the point where we can't even play sorry, because he is horrible if he's losing. Bad attitude, bad body language, crying. It got to the point, like right now, he's so competitive at school for extended day. I had to tell the teacher, like, hey, look, anything that's dealing with something where there's a winner, it's competitive, he can't play. Whether it's a board game, any kind of game where the ball's involved or not, he cannot play. Why? Because I go to pick him up one day from school last week, and he's just in there boohooing crying. I'm like, boy, what is wrong with you? They cheated me on the game. I'm like, are you serious? A game, a board game? This is how you acting? So, hey, teachers, from here on forward, he don't need to play no games. So when you guys are doing anything that's game related, athletic related, or a winners declared, just sit him down, let him learn something. Teach him, let him do some lessons or something. Let him learn. Because right now, he can't deal with his emotion when it comes to losing. Look, this boy, when he was a little bit younger, we would go outside and play around the world, or horse, or a video game. And I said, okay, Austin, you want me to let you win? He's like, yeah, Dad, you can let me win. And he knows I'm going to let him win. And he wins. And he acts as if he's the greatest thing ever. He acts as if he didn't know that we let him win, or that I let him win. I'm like, man, you got to be kidding me. That is just how competitive and how he's wired. Okay? So are they competitive? Very competitive. But do we put them against each other like that? No, they're just going to compete because that's just their nature. Okay? Now, my oldest boy, he's competitive, but he processes his emotions a little bit better. Okay? So when they come to being like competitive in the house, because he knows he's better than his brother, and he expects himself to win. Now, don't get me wrong, Austin is a better shooter than him. So when we're playing around the world, Austin will just beat him sometimes. And of course, Aiden will get mad, but Aiden will come back and want to play again and just try to see if he can beat him instead of quitting or whining and crying and complaining. There's times when I have to send them back in the house because they'll be outside playing a sport, basketball, whatever it is. And next thing I know, I hear my youngest boy yelling at him. And the first thing he gonna pretty much yell, you cheating. Why you cheating? And so I literally had to send them in the house because they just both want to win so bad. And like I said, that young one, whoo, I don't know where he gets it from. But man, that's just how he is though. Like he could literally be on third base in a baseball game and miss a ball, have an error, which everybody's gonna make an error, right? You're 7, 8 years old. And he immediately, body language, he drops his head. He's down to the point where he's like trying to catch his breath because he's about to hyperventilate over there because he wants to be perfect. And I'm like, man, you're not going to be perfect. Baseball is the one sport you definitely ain't going to be perfect in because you get way too many opportunities. And especially hitting. But he'd be on, calm him down. So yes, they are super, super, super competitive. Now, that can be a good thing because that means they got passion. That means they want to win. That means they want to do their best. So you have to learn how to orchestrate that thing to make sure that it's being used in their favor and not as a detriment to the team. Okay. All right. So how do you encourage your kids when they're feeling the pressure to perform? Okay. So my thing is this. You want to be prepared for pressure. Okay. How do you get prepared for pressure? You practice, but you have skillful practice. You don't just practice to be practicing. That was this thing that people used to say back in the day where practice makes perfect. My granddad said, well, no, grandson, that's a lie. Perfect practice makes perfect. So you could be practicing all day, practicing, you know what I'm saying, doing drills the wrong way, wrong technique. And it's not going to translate well to the game. So perfect practice makes perfect. So what I tell them after when they feeling pressure, I was like, look, you got to trust your training. We didn't put in work. Have we not hit off the tee 1,000 times? Have we not caught 1,000 fly balls? Have we not did soft toss? Have you not hit off pitching machine caught balls? Have you not thrown 100 or more passes throughout this week? Have you not shot a bunch of free throws? Have you not did ball handling drills? Have you not did all these things to prepare you for this moment? So now it's your time. You say I'm him. You say I'm that guy. Now it's time to show it. Now, if you can't handle the pressure, then don't talk the big talk. Maybe it ain't for you. Maybe you ain't got that dog inside you. But I challenge them by telling them to trust their training. Now, I see a lot of parents yelling at their kids, and I know just by the skill set that the kids have that they shouldn't be yelling at them because you ain't did no training with them. That bothers me when I see a father or a mother yelling at their kid as if they've been in the backyard training them, as if they've been paying somebody to train them, as if you've been out at the fields and at the courts putting in work with them. You want your kid to be better than what he is. That ain't gonna happen. All kids are only going to be as good as the work they put in. You're not going to be better than what you do at practice come a game. All of a sudden, if your kid can't shoot the free throw or shoot the three, when he get in the game, he knocking down threes and free throws consistently. That ain't going to happen. So it goes back to training. So when you feel that pressure, I was like, it's cool. Pressure's gonna come because it's a rivalry game. It's a tight game. You want it bad. You're playing against a good team. Trust your training. Go, and I'll have to remind them sometimes, like, hey, like AAU basketball right now is super physical. It's my 10-year-old's first year playing AAU basketball. Super physical. So there's a drill that we do where you learn how to use your body, your shoulder to create space, right? So you do 2 dribbles and you'll pound against the pad up against the wall, or if I'm holding the pad, you'll pound up, dribble, pound. Dribble, pound, dribble, pound. Because these AAU games are like 90s style basketball. They riding them all the way down the court, hand checking them and everything like that, right? So I said, this is where you use the drill. So the kid was riding them down the sideline, dribble, boom. Gave him that shoulder, kid flew, boom, taking all the way. Now the kid that was defending him was like a little bit hesitant from now because he knows, oh, this dude can use his body. And going back to skills and trusting your training and using what you have. Like I said, my oldest boy, his body is built different. He can handle the ball, but he's like 105 to 107 pounds. At his age, most kids that are guards that are handling the ball are 15 to 20 pounds lighter than him. So where they may be faster, he's bigger and can handle the ball just as good as them. So he has to learn how to use his body, put him on the back, get by him, then you put him on your back. You know, use your body to create space to get your shot off. Because these smaller guards are quicker than you. So trust your training. And I think, like I said, just going back to trusting your training, you have to be willing to fall in love with the basic and the boring. Okay? Training sometimes gets boring. Training sometimes is basic. But in order to be great, you have to fall in love with the boring. You have to fall in love with the basic. You can never get tired of hitting off a tee. You can never get tired of doing soft toss. You can never get tired of doing ball handling drills. You can never get tired of shooting the rock at practice, doing shooting drills. You can never get tired of catching balls off a jug machine or throwing a football to a certain target. You can never get tired of those things. Footwork, endurance. You can't get tired of that. Because if you want to be great, if you want to be that guy, you got to put the work in. Because there's somebody else, there's another kid out there right now that has probably seen you play and it's like, man, I want to be better than him. You feel me? So trust your training. All right. Next question. How do you help your child bounce back from a tough loss? When it comes to losing, after the game is over, after a tough loss, I usually just go up. I say, hey, way to play hard. And I give them a hug. Now, I've learned to do this because usually before we get to the car, I'm already talking about what you didn't do right, what coach should have done, what about why you ain't do this, all those kind of things. But I've learned to not bring it up unless they do. There was a game last year in the playoffs in rec baseball where my youngest son struck out 3 times in one game. Ain't struck out probably not once the whole season. Get to the last game of the year, and he literally strikes out 3 times. Best player on the team. We lose. So you already know I'm burning up. But because I've learned, I didn't say nothing to him. If he didn't bring it up, I wasn't going to bring it up. Okay? So I give them 24 hours before I come back to him and we talk about it. Okay, son, these are the things that I saw that we need to improve on. These are things these are the drills that we're gonna do. So what I do is I go back, I watch film, I go back and play stuff through my mind, and I find some drills that we're gonna have to do because guess what? We got to get back to training. If a tough loss and there's some things that we made mistakes in, let's go back and fix those mistakes, work on those mistakes. So when that happens again, when that moment comes, next time I'm ready. Okay. So if I notice you are, not swinging all the way through the ball, or if I notice you're not watching the ball all the way to the glove, or if I know you're pulling your head, or if I know your timing's off, or if I know on your free throws you're not using your legs, like whatever that thing is, we're gonna find a drill or some drills and we're gonna work on it. We're gonna try to perfect that thing. I'm big on that. I'm big on training because, like I said, if you're only as good as you train, that's it. Okay. So we go back. Like I said, how do you help your child bounce back from a loss? We'll even watch film together. Okay. So I'll go back and say, okay, like my oldest boy, AU basketball, because he plays point guard, he'll make a pass and then he'll stand and watch. Now that kid is getting ready to shoot or he's driving to the hole to try to lay the ball up, right? So 2 things has to happen on that. You have got to get in his eyesight just in case he needs to pass it. Then once you see he's going to the hole or he's trying to shoot it, you got to crash the board to get a rebound. If you can get a rebound, you get an easy 2 points. So you got to find ways to motivate him. Hey, look, if you crash the board, you get a rebound, you can score. Because guess what? All these kids want to score. Okay, so we go back and watch film. We'll break film down. Now, sometimes I have to make them watch film because film is boring. Okay, and most kids, 8 and 10 years old, they don't want to watch no film, and I get that. But I was like, hey, give me 10 minutes. Let's break down some film real quick. All right, so I'm showing them how I break down film, so that way they're learning how to break down film, and they're also seeing some of the mistakes that they made in the game. So how do we bounce back from a tough loss? I embrace them, give them a hug, tell them good game, way to play hard. If they want to talk about it in the car, we'll talk about it. If not, I give them 24 hours. Then after that, we doing some new drills. We're watching film. We're getting ready for the next opportunity. That's pretty much how we bounce back. And one thing they have to realize is that they're not going to win every game. Okay, it's not going to happen. You're not going to win every game. And I think that's an issue sometimes that these kids have, that they're supposed to be perfect. Okay, you're not going to be perfect, especially not in baseball. It just is what it is. All right. Do you think sports help teach values like teamwork and resilience in your household? Yes, it does. Um, Sports is a great way to teach various life skills, life lessons. Okay, so teamwork, you're learning how to work with people, different personalities, different skill sets. Okay, so if my son is good at first base, but there's another kid that's pretty solid at first base, but we don't have nobody that can play third. And guess what? I'm gonna move my son to third, and I'm going to move the other kid to first base. Why? Because I'm doing what's best for the team. That's teamwork. And so when he asks me, well, why am I playing this position? Because that's what's best for the team. Or when you're playing travel baseball and your coach moves you to the outfield, you hustle and get your butt to the outfield. I don't care what your feelings are, because in that moment, your coach feels like that's what's best for the team. He ain't, and I tell parents all the time, I'm a coach that I want what's best for the team. I want to maximize our chances to win. Now at practice, we're there to get better. In the games, we're there to win. I'm sorry. That's just why you play sports. Yes, you're gonna learn things, but the ultimate goal is to win. So I'm gonna have a parent come up to me, and be like, "Hey, well, why isn't my son getting this kind of playing time, or why isn't he playing here or playing there?" And I'm like, "Look, what you feel like is best for your son is not what's best for the team, and that's in my opinion because I'm the one that's coaching." Okay, so if your son is good at shooting, but he doesn't have any endurance and can't play defense, then it's gonna be hard for me to put him in the game. Okay. Yes, your son can hoop, but for this particular game, it's not what's best for the team. We're doing what's best for the team. Team comes first. Okay. And that goes with my son. If you're not good enough to be playing in a certain position, I'm not going to put you there. Okay. Because I'm trying to do what's best for the team. I'm trying to figure out the best way for us to maximize our opportunity to score the most points. So does it teach teamwork? Yes. Because even learning how to play with a team on the court, when you get to the house, now you can learn how to work together as a team, as a family. Okay. Well, my oldest boy, he's going to go in there and clean the room. My youngest boy, he's going to go handle the bathroom while me and the mom is doing the kitchen and the living room. You work as a team. You sacrifice for one another. And see, that's what's so beautiful about playing sports. You learn to make sacrifices for one another, especially if you truly want to win or you're truly trying to reach that common goal. And once everybody buys in, and then you get that feeling like, man, I'm doing something for the team. Okay. Resilience. Does it teach resilience in our household? Yes, because guess what? You're not going to win every game, as I stated earlier. It's not going to happen. And one thing about sports, you always have another opportunity, whether it's the next day, the next week, or next year. You always have another opportunity to bounce back. And in order to show how resilient you are after that game is over, as I said earlier, you go back and put in some more work. You go back and you trust your training. You put in more training. You do more drills. You get better so that it's easier for you to be resilient. And if you can understand that sometimes in life, somebody's going to be better than you. Not saying that gives you a reason not to work hard, but there's going to be somebody better than you. There's going to be somebody quicker, stronger, smarter. But are you giving it your max effort? Are you in the lane? Are you playing the role that you should be playing? Okay. Now, if you want to be that guy, then you got to show up and put the work in to be that guy. Okay. Patrick Beverly, retired NBA player, when he was in high school, they say this man was putting up like 35 plus points a game. It may even been 40 points a game. He was a scorer in high school. When he got to the NBA, he was a lockdown defender. That's it. They didn't need him to score. They needed him to play defense. So things would shift, things would change. But because he was resilient and because he adapted and because he wanted to do what's best for the team and gave him the best opportunity to change his life, he had to be resilient and change his style of play. and do what was best for the team. So when you're resilient, you also have to be flexible and adaptable. When you're resilient, you got to look at the bigger picture. When you are resilient, you got to be willing to change and go train in something different sometimes. Okay. Resilience is who you are on the inside. That's something you have on the inside. Are you going to bounce back from this loss? Are you going to bounce back from this tough game? Are you going to bounce back from poor performance? Because guess what, man? Everybody's going to have a poor performance. But you got to go back and remind yourself of how good you are. You got to remind yourself of how many times you've done this drill. Because I know as a former college football player, man, we would catch 150 plus balls in a season or in a practice, right? That week. So you done caught all these balls during the week, jug machine. You catching it over your shoulder, right side, left side. You even turn your back, flip around. I mean, you doing all this. Get in the game and drop one ball. Now you question yourself. It's like, bro, you done caught 150 balls, 200, 300 balls this week. You done drop one in the game. Now you down yourself. See, that's resilience. You have to go back. Sometimes you have to play those memories in your head. Oh no, dog, I am that guy. I can catch this ball. Or you have to go sit down by somebody, a coach or another teammate, to help them, let them build you back up. Okay, but you have to be willing to give yourself another chance. Always be willing to say, I'm gonna get the next one. I'm gonna do better the next time. I'm gonna make the play the next time. You gotta have that mentality. You gotta be able to forget stuff real quick, because sports is always happening. Something always happens. You're always gonna have another opportunity. So just be ready to seize the next opportunity. So yes, it does teach teamwork and resilience. Another question that is asked most commonly is, what's the biggest life lesson you've taught your kids through sports? I would say when it comes to sports, I think the biggest lesson they've learned is that I try to teach them is that you're not going to win every game. Okay? You're not. The greatest of the greatest are going to lose. Okay? So you're not going to win every game. But see, you don't have to win every game to win it all. Did you catch that? You don't have to win every game necessarily to win it all. Same thing in life. You're going to have failures. Everything ain't always going to go your way. There's going to be times when you felt like you deserved it, that you wanted it so bad, but you didn't get it. See, that's life teaching you stuff. So when they lose a tough game, I'm like, look, or when they don't make a team or whatever the case may be, hey, you're not a failure. Okay? You just failed at this one thing. So you can fail at something in life and not be a failure, and then turn that thing around to a positive because you learn from it. So life is always teaching and testing. Okay? It's teaching and testing. We like to look at things as a learning experience. Okay? So what can we learn from this particular failure? Okay, does it suck? Yeah. Does it hurt? Yeah. That loss, it hurts. But guess what? What are we going to learn from it? Okay. Is there going to be motivation for you to go forward? Or are you going to use it for your reason to comp out and not want to show up the next time? Or are you going to use it like, man, I don't never want to feel like this again. Okay. So biggest life lessons, learning how to deal with failure. I think sports is very good with that. Because if you can learn how to deal with losing on the court, it makes it a little bit easier to deal with, oh man, when something happens, it don't go my way, I don't get that job. So that's why I don't like just giving people playing time. Like, I want you to earn it, because in life, stuff ain't always going to be given to you. Now, you may have a connection, you may have a network when you get older, but guess what? At some point in time in life, it's going to slap you across the face. Life is literally going to punch you square in the face one day. You don't know if it's going to be when you're 15, 35, 40, but it's going to come that time when life is going to smack you. Now you got to realize, like, you know what? Man, when I was training for sports, man, it built my mindset up. It gave me a different mindset, because I remember running stadiums at Jacksonville State outside when it was snowing. I remember working out up under the stadium because we didn't have no facility at the time. It was building one. So we worked out outside up under the stadium, 30, 45 degrees outside, putting in work. So I remember doing 3-4 day practices. It's building something up in you. It's giving you that resilience that we just talked about. So when life hits you, you're ready for it. You're more prepared for it. So when we lose a game, when it just ain't going our way, we can always sit back and be like, hey, how can I get better from this? So you're not gonna win at everything in life. You're gonna have to learn how to win, and you're gonna have to learn how to lose. And that's one of the biggest things I'm working on right now with my sons is teaching them how to lose. Okay? Hey, you lost. What could you have done better for us not to lose? All right, let's go put the work in. So always allow it to be your motivation. Do you and your kids bond over sports? Absolutely. I think that is one of the biggest ways that we bond. Because sports is such a big part of our life. So when I pick them up from school and we go to the batting cage, quality time, they see daddy really cares about them and where they want to be. I'm taking up, interest in what they want to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I love sports too, but now it's about them. I never thought that I would have that much joy, that much fulfillment coaching them and watching them. Man, it's a beautiful thing. I remember flag football. I think that was like one of the very, like football, like I said, I played in college. So that's the first sport that either one of them played as far as football. It wasn't tackle football. They started off in flag. I think he was 6 years old. And just out there watching him play flag football, I was like, bro, it don't get no better than this. I'm like, this is amazing. Like the feeling that I had, like, man, I'm coaching my son out here playing flag football. I'm coming up with all kind of different plays. I'm studying. I'm like, man, it was just like, man, I was all in. And it was just such a great thing, like, to coach them. And one thing that I love is that when they listen to me when it comes to sports. Okay, so my youngest boy, like I said, my oldest boy, he's fast, but he's not the fastest. So there's kids out there that's faster than him. So I told him, I said, look, when you break, you have got to look over your shoulder to see where they're coming from so you know where to cut. He was like, what? I said, man, just listen to what I'm saying. So he gets out there, gets the ball, he breaks a long one, he looks over his shoulder, he cut across field, cut back, touchdown. So after he scores the touchdown, he looks at me and is like, Daddy, it worked. So it's like, once he saw that, oh, my dad knows what he's talking about when it comes to his sports stuff. Now it's a whole lot easier. We done built that bond. We done got a deeper relationship. He's like, hey, I can trust Daddy now when it comes to sports. So when I am correcting him with his swing, when I'm taking, like, both of them, they listen now because they know, like, well, Dad must know what he's talking about. Like, because I have to tell him, like, you're good because you're talented. Don't get me wrong, but you're better than what you would be because of me. And I'm not trying to take nothing from them, but I'm like, because I'm in your life and because I'm here training y'all and I'm preparing y'all and I'm the one that's studying this and I'm putting it in you. Now, God has given y'all talent. Don't get me wrong, but I told my 9-year-old, I was watching him play basketball last year. Well, actually, he was 8, and I was like, the things that he's doing as an 8-year-old, I wasn't doing until I was in the 8th grade. And I was like, don't get me wrong, my dad was in my life and all that kind of stuff, but sports was not the top priority, like, or a high priority. We played it, but it wasn't like Dad was like, hey, I gotta get you. And then actually back then you didn't train. That was just something that you just was unheard of, So now it's like, when we're playing games right now, I can remind him, like, hey, that's why we did this drill. I need for you need to do this. Okay. He goes out there and he's trying to do what he's been taught. And that's what makes it so great when you see the connection that we have and that we've built for both of my boys over the past few years when it comes to sports. So it definitely creates a bond. And like I said, it builds it not just on the court, but it also keeps us tight off the court. And they know that no matter what's going on, that I got their back, that I'm here for them. And I tell them all the time, ain't nobody gonna love y'all as much as me. There's no man on this earth that's gonna love y'all the way I love y'all. Because not only am I going to love y'all and stuff like that, but I'm also gonna push y'all. Okay. I'm gonna push you not only just to be great at sports, but to be great young men, to be accountable, to have integrity, to be men of high character. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love for my boys to go off and be great in sports and get out and do all these crazy things, amazing things. But I really want them to be good husbands and good fathers. If I can get that, and then whatever else comes with that, bro, I would be fulfilled to the max. I would be super proud. I love them, and I would just be super proud that they are doing those things that I've instilled in them and that God has put in them. So does it build a bond over sports? Yes. Now, I've seen it though where it breaks down bonds because a father is just too hard on them. You got to find that balance of when to push and when not to, because you can push your son too hard that you push them away from you. Okay. So you got to find that balance. I'm telling you, I've seen it. Sometimes I have to back off. I'm able to coach I've always been able to coach my oldest boy hard. Now it's getting it to the point to where I can coach my youngest son hard. But at first, man, we used to be out there doing drill work, and I would yell at him about something with some baseball. It just frustrated me because he ain't paying attention. He ain't locked in. Man, he'll put that bat down and walk off. He was like, hey, I ain't built like Aiden. You ain't gonna be yelling at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I learned. I was like, okay, so yeah, I might have to coach him a little different. But now it's to the point where like, nah, buddy, you 8 and you talented, you good, but it's a lot of things you still need to work on, and I'm gonna start correcting you, and you're gonna have to step up. I'm sorry, I can't baby you no more. Am I still gonna love on you? Yeah, but you gonna have to step up, and because what they don't understand, another thing that I think parents don't understand, if you want your kid to play middle school, high school, and possibly go to college, ain't no coaches out there, okay, going up there and do your best. Well, that's a good job. No, they all in your face. They're gonna make you almost hate the sport, especially when you get to college. They're not soft. Okay? So if you want your kid to be prepared to play competitive sports, that's how it's gonna be. Now, some are over the top with it, but on your basic coach is gonna raise their voice, gonna have a deep tone with them. So go ahead and start preparing yourself, parents. Okay, and stop always. Like another thing that I see with parents is that they feel like their son deserves it. Like just because you put in work don't mean you deserve it. Okay, and listen, what I mean by this is this: you can go out there and you can work hard, put in all the drill work, but don't mean you're gonna be skilled. Because some key, it just don't translate. It don't. You can go out there and shoot. It's guys in the NBA that still shoot free throw percentage below 60%. And they're practicing, they're working at it. That don't mean they can shoot free throws. So just because you put in work for 1 week don't mean you got a whole lot better. Okay? It's consistency over time. And I'm talking like months to years sometimes before you can really see that thing change. Okay? And it just may be because of their makeup of their body, their skill set, their hand-eye coordination. So parents, don't always set these unrealistic expectations, and don't always coach kids to their potential. Okay. Now, in practice, you can coach them to their potential, but in games, you got to expect reality. Okay. So when kids get out there at practice, they missing shots or they turn the ball over, they're going to do the same thing in the game. And there ain't no reason for you yelling and screaming at them because they've already shown you at practice and previous games that this is what they do. Now, that bond, going back to the last question, the bond that I have built with my sons has definitely been strengthening through sports. So I recommend sports for any father, son, father, daughter, connection, or mother and daughter, mother-son connection out there, I do recommend sports for various reasons. It teaches life lessons and it builds quality time along with other great things. So if you get an opportunity, introduce your kids to sports, take them outside, let them put a little bit of work in, let them see how they feel out. But if your son or your daughter don't show you that they got it, I really don't recommend you putting them in sports. Now, I coach rec, and there's some kids out there that are way better than other kids, and there's some kids don't even know how to hold a bat. At least get in the backyard with your kids or take them to training. Put in a little bit of work with them before you send them out there to play the sport. Because I just don't like looking at kids and it's like, man, they ain't never done nothing with them in the backyard. It's almost embarrassing. Now, that's just my opinion, okay? Because like I said, I like to coach hard. But if that kid's on my team, I'm going to coach him up. I'm gonna give him my best. I'm gonna try to correct him in the small time that I have, and I'm gonna try to build him up. All right. So, Game Time with Dad, turning sports into quality time and life lessons. That's our time. Elevated Chat Room. We check it out. Elevate your mind, elevate your life. You guys be blessed.